graduate school.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spaulding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spaulding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed strong leadership.
In 1995, Dr. Vaughn became president and UT began to transform. 1,000 UT students has become 7,200, and we are now entering our 17th consecutive year of record enrollment. All the while, UT's academic profile continues to increase. There has been $350 million in new construction since 2000. We have added 7 new residence halls, academic buildings and labs, as well as athletic facilities. Plant Hall even got new carpet and new windows. UT now has more than 3,000 events annually and 200 clubs and student organizations. We have won 13 NCAA Division II championships, and since 2000, Spartan teams have won 35 Sunshine State Conference titles. As a member of the University of Tampa Spartan family, you are a guiding force behind UT's remarkable success. We are alums, students, parents, and friends, and together we are changing lives. We are individuals, yet the greater whole is only complete when we work together. You have helped make UT a vibrant community with growing resources and a superior reputation. Just like in the beginning when professors worked without pay, the spirit of giving at UT remains strong. Last year, nearly $14 million was donated to the university by thousands of generous supporters. When we strengthen education, we strengthen our job force and our nation as a whole. Donations support academics, campus life, and a student's ability to afford an education. Your participation is what matters most and shows that our Spartan family believes in the future of UT. Whatever level of support, your gift is important to us and enables UT to provide the challenging, high-quality education that has defined our university. Thank you for helping UT achieve such great success.
ranked graduate school. NCAA Division II athletics program. Ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spalding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spalding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half of the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed strong leadership.
In 1995, Dr. Vaughn became president and UT began to transform. 1,000 UT students has become 7,200, and we are now entering our 17th consecutive year of record enrollment. All the while, UT's academic profile continues to increase. There has been $350 million in new construction since 2000. We have added 7 new residence halls, academic buildings and labs, as well as athletic facilities. Plant Hall even got new carpet and new windows. UT now has more than 3,000 events annually and 200 clubs and student organizations. We have won 13 NCAA Division II championships, and since 2000, Spartan teams have won 35 Sunshine State Conference titles. As a member of the University of Tampa Spartan family, you are a guiding force behind UT's remarkable success. We are alums, students, parents, and friends, and together we are changing lives. We are individuals, yet the greater whole is only complete when we work together. You have helped make UT a vibrant community with growing resources and a superior reputation. Just like in the beginning when professors worked without pay, the spirit of giving at UT remains strong. Last year, nearly $14 million was donated to the university by thousands of generous supporters. When we strengthen education, we strengthen our job force and our nation as a whole. Donations support academics, campus life, and a student's ability to afford an education. Your participation is what matters most and shows that our Spartan family believes in the future of UT. Whatever level of support, your gift is important to us and enables UT to provide the challenging, high-quality education that has defined our university. Thank you for helping UT achieve such great success.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
We are live, game 2 between Southwest Minnesota State and the Tampa Spartans. Russell swing and a miss to open up. 5:10 is the time of the first pitch for game 2. If you were unlucky enough to miss game 1, well, you missed an exciting one. 6-3 Spartans took the victory. They took an early lead, but Southwest fought back and fought up to the very end. Galehouse takes the mound for the Spartans. This one grounded to third, and Weininger from third gets the out at first, one away. Foul, actually. They're going to call that back. It looked like it was fair, but just by a few inches, it missed. It was a good throw from Weininger, and pretty close play. Russell almost was able to run that out. This time gets strike 3 right down the middle. Russell goes down looking for out number 1. Quickly looking up and down the lineup. No serious changes for Southwest Minnesota. It's going to be Miller taking the mound, taking the circle eventually for Southwest Minnesota State. Colhane also gets the start. Although I think Miller will actually be taking at bat, so Colhane will be a defensive player rather than an offensive player. That'll be a similar situation potentially for the Spartans, as Galehouse in the circle will also be taking at bats. Kremlish gets on board with a hit, splitting Russo and DeSimone. Blumendahl up. Blumendahl was 1 for 4 in the earlier game today, and now with one on has a chance to try to get the offense going for Southwest Minnesota State. Drops the bunt. It goes foul. Interesting idea to bunt with one away. Maybe they're hoping that Noel, who's on deck, can keep their relatively hot bat and potentially bring home a run. That'll be tough to do against Mariah Galehouse. 29 innings pitched, only 4 earned with 6 runs total coming home. The bunt gets down, and Weininger can't make the play. Weininger eventually gets the ball, preventing Kremlish from getting to third. But that'll be graded as an E5. 2 aboard, 1 away for Noel. See what Noel can do. Strike 1 taken. In the dirt. Ball 1. It's kind of repeating. Noel was 2 for 3 in the previous game. Outside corner, but just misses. And by the way, for the umpiring situation, Serafin is now behind home plate. Sidney Johnson playing in the field. Rotating positions from game 1. This one fouled. 2-2. For the Spartans, similar fielding situation, but Mackenzie Allen is out in right field to replace Galehouse, who's moved to the circle, forming a compact battery alongside Lexi Chevalier. Chevalier and Galehouse going over what to do for this at-bat. They want to prevent the Mustangs from bringing a run home, and it'll be a tricky spot to work out of. I know Galehouse has the ability to do so. See if she can right here. 2-2. Swung on and missed for a second strikeout for Galehouse. Molly Bull will step up now with 2 aboard. Bull was hitless last time, but did get on base with a walk. Bowl pops this one up. Will it get down in no man's land? No. Good running catch by Keister to end the inning. And just like that, Tampa escapes the jam. 2 strikeouts from Galehouse and 2 runners left on base. Up next, bottom of the first, you're watching Tampa Spartans softball on tampaspartans.tv. Fantone leads off for the Spartans. We'll take a look at quick any defensive changes, but doesn't look like anything new, except for one change. In the circle, number 7, Carly Miller. Miller, a 5.40 ERA in 25 innings, 18 strikeouts to 16 walks. So not necessarily the best command, but does carry some stuff alongside it. 16 walks leads the Mustangs in the category. That isn't necessarily a category you fancy leading too often. 1-1. The only time you'd like to lead that category is as a hitter, and that honor is currently held by McKenna Waldo. 1-1 here for Fantone. Taken low and outside for ball 2. Fantone went 1 for 4 in the first game. Hoped to do just slightly better in game number 2. Tried to drop a bunt. The count goes 2-2. We know Fantone can utilize her speed on the base paths on those bunts. Same thing can happen with Lily Keister. Now the swing. That's a nice hit ball down to right field. That'll be a leadoff single for the Spartans. Good effort from Bloemendahl, but that's a very hard ball to get. That'll bring up Lily Keister. And I will say, the plan from Leslie Cantor is to bunt it and hope that Keister can give another successful one. She's done a good job of dropping sacrifices and well-placed bunts. Went 1 for 3 in the first game. That one fouled backward, 0-1. Misses the bunt again. So now that bunt is likely not going to happen as the count goes to 1-2. That one way outside. Tried to get her with a slider. Or in that case, reverse slider, as Miller has a right-handed pitch. And you generally don't see a lot of right-handed pitches breaking that far to the left-hand batter box. 1-2 here. I believe this is now 1-2. But this time, an absolutely beautiful off-speed gets Keister looking. That was a curveball that landed perfectly in the top half of the zone. Not much you can do if you're Keister. You'd already committed to the take. Russo at the plate with 1 away. Russo's dropped good bunts before, but I think she's going to have a green light to swing in this spot with 1 out. That one's high for ball 1. This one's lined up the middle, and that is a very unorthodox play, but it gets ruined on the errant throw. Runners at second and third with one away. Miller was positioned with her glove to try to make the play, and in fact, the line drive knocked the glove out of Miller's hand and kept the ball in front of Miller. Miller picks it up, but the throw to Blumendahl is off target, so it puts both runners in scoring position. If Miller was able to get the out, that would have been a very impressive play, but unfortunately, it won't lead to an out and puts Weininger on in a very lucrative spot. It'll also be given as an error on Miller. In the previous game, Weininger brought home a run and an RBI and went 1 for 3. Ooh, just missed that time. That actually looked like a pretty good pitch. And it's been tough, I think, for both hitters and pitchers, whether you're in the circle or in the box, to get the calls you want. And now it's a 3-0 for Weininger. And you don't want to walk Weininger for Galehouse on deck. That's all I have to say about it. And Galehouse had a great first game, going 2 for 4, bringing home an RBI, although she did strand 4 runners with a couple unfortunate outs. The 3-0, an obvious take. The curveball lands inside for strike 1. Here's the 3-1. Weininger sends this one to the outfield. Boxrud chasing. 2 away. The throw in won't be in time. Tampa takes a 1-run lead. So the sac fly works. And that's going to bring up Galehouse with a runner in scoring position. In the first game, we saw Tampa get a little too aggressive in the base paths and forget to tag up. But the good news for the Spartans is that they don't have any troubles this time. Tag up was perfect, and now they take the 1-run lead. Here's Galehouse looking to make it 2. Another off-speed down the middle, strike 1. Galehouse maintaining a .500 average for the season. Foul back, 0-2. Something that's interesting to note, Southwest Minnesota State only had 1 strikeout in the first game, and they already had 1 in the first inning. Good grab by Blumendahl at first. Nearly bounces away, but she recovers to get the final out of the inning. A sac fly brings a run home for the Spartans. Entering the top of the second, they hold a 1-0 lead.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
And we are back live at Namoli Family Stadium. And by the way, shout out to Bayshore Little League in attendance. Great to have them here at the Namoli Family Stadium, watching the number 3 ranked Tampa Spartans take the field. Now hitting for the not Broncos, but Mustangs, Southwest Minnesota State. Boxrud takes ball 1, was able to pull back on the bunt. If you didn't get the Broncos joke, I I accidentally called them Broncos to start out the previous game. It's not the first time a Sunshine State team got the name wrong. Back in Eckerd earlier this weekend, they were being called the Golden Mustangs. By the way, that is a really cool name, and they probably should adopt it, as their uniform and logo does contain traces of gold in it. But they're not golden, they're just the Mustangs. They would be golden if they could get the win here. 2-0 now for Bachström. 2-1 on the previous pitch. Gilhouse grounds this to DeSimone. 1 away. The new at-batter is Arendt, ready to go, 1-0 count. Arendt went 0 for 3 and stranded 2 last time. She'll be looking to rebound in this game. Won't rebound on that pitch, is fooled by the off-speed. Gilhouse is a pretty commanding fastball. The off-speed has been known to fool some of the best hitters in D2. And the off-speed works again, strike 3, the third strikeout from Mariah Gilhouse. Oh no, it's actually 1-2, so we were 1 pitch ahead on the scoreboard. This time it's fouled away, so we'll have one more. This one grounded to DeSimone, and that's an out. DeSimone wasn't able to perfectly field it, but the good news is the contact left it right in front of her, so it was a very easy play. And 2 away immediately. Katie Palmer steps up now. Went 0 for 3 as well, stranding a runner. Just like Arendt would like a better game too. And another off-speed swing and miss. It's been a dominant pitch throughout Gilhouse's entire time at UT. And once again, a very useful one to start out here. Fouled away 0-2. Tried to frame it outside, but just missed. It's 1-2. This time gets it. And 2 big strikeouts on a 1-2-3 inning. Well, actually, just 1 strikeout. I got a little ahead of myself there. Just like a lot of the batters have been getting ahead of that off speed. We'll be back in the bottom of the second right after this.
I pledged.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Miller had a solid opening inning. 1 run did come home, but it was unearned. Miller has a chance to try to keep the damage down here, facing the 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Spartans. Lexi Chevalier leads off. Taken high for ball 1. Spartans have actually had a pretty good start hitting the long ball this year. If you take a look at their overall statistics, they've actually had quite a few home runs. Now, I think a lot of the home runs did come from road series. Tampa is known, of course, as a cavern for home runs. Now the count is 1-1 for Chevalier. popped up and all the way back. Rolls off the net and back into the field of play. There's a big net surrounding the back of the softball field, not too dissimilar from the one at the baseball field, but it's slightly shorter and also doesn't extend all the way to the outfield either. No classes and students really traversing the building back there. And another filthy off-speed gets a second strikeout of the game for Miller. That's going to bring up Avery Perkins with one away. So while Miller entered the game with 16 walks, showing great command so far, locating the zone. That one's high for ball one. Perkins went 1 for 3 last time and was able to score a run. Perkins was also pinch ran for late in the game. 2-0 here. Perkins won't be a designated player. Actually, no, I believe Perkins is a designated player this time. This one taken. And I believe it is 3-1, or 2-1. Got a little ahead of themselves on the scoreboard at the stadium. Now it's going to go to 3-1 as this one goes way too low. See if Perkins can draw a walk to bring up Cade DeSimone with one away. That's ball 4. DeSimone was 2 for 2 last time. See if the hot stretch can continue for the two-way player. Takes the first pitch, a beautiful off-speed down the middle, 0-1. Well, actually, the first pitch was called for ball 1, and I think there was a little bit of dissent from the Southwest Minnesota State dugout, which prompted a pause in play by Seraphin. And that's kind of the lesson that Bruce Wozniak says. You can't argue with City Hall, even though that looked like a strike. Wasn't called it. And wow, I will say that also wasn't called a strike. 2-0. It should be 2-0. I'm not sure if it's 2-1 if the umpire was showing, because there wasn't 3 pitches he had missed at bat, was there? Well, either way, we know this one's a strike. That one was a little bit easier to tell that it was right down the middle. Outside, that's ball 3. I believe it'll be a full count. Yes, it will. So high leverage count here for DeSimone. Would be big for Miller to get the second out. Here's the pitch. Checked and fouled. Stephanie Ballmer on deck. Ballmer had the lone stolen base for the Spartans in the previous game. And also had gone 1 for 3 with a run. 3-2. Fouled away. That one's high for ball 4. And so, bit of the commentator's curse. I was talking about the good command from Miller, and then immediately 2 players are walked. Steph Ballmer up now. Now my question is, does Ballmer drop a bunt? It would likely advance the runners and could catch the Mustangs off guard. Although Noel and Blumendahl are up. That one, strike 1, good fastball right down the middle. Let's see what happens here. The 0-1 Ballmer pops this one up. Should be playable for Boxrud. It is. Perkins doesn't try to tag up to third, 2 away. Lauren Fantone, who's 1 for 1, steps up with 2 away. Spartans stranded 8 runners on base last time. They've already stranded 1 this game. They'd like to avoid stranding a few more. 0-1 taken just on that high and outside corner. One and so 2 outs here and a 1-1 count. Checked up just in time by Fantone. And that was good that she was able to check up. Otherwise, that would have been an embarrassing strike 2. Another fooled off speed. Fantone hits this one. It gets through, and 1 run will score for the Spartans. And Fantone converts with an RBI single. DeSimone gets to third. 2 away, and Lily Keister steps up. That previous play just splitting the second base player in Colhane. Taken high for ball 1. Fouled away, 1-1. 2-0 lead for the Spartans. They've got a runner at third. Miller at 44 pitches. Here comes 45 from the circle. This one's going to be grounded to short. It's bobbled by Russell. Russell can't come up with it. That'll likely be an error. It's a 3-0 Spartans lead. And you have to feel for Russell in that play. Again, another weird hop. Didn't let it go too far, keeping the runners at first and second. But it does bring the runner home from third. Tampa now up by another. Here's Alexa Russo, who drew in 2 RBIs in Game 1. It was a similar spot with, I believe, runners in first and second. And it was a hard hit ball that was able to bring both of them home. Russo went 1 for 2 with a walk. That one's taken low. 2-0 now. Weirdly enough, in Russo's first at-bat in the first game, she saw 4 straight balls. This could be similar for the second at-bat in the second game. That one's up high and outside. On deck is Cameron Weininger, who was walked last time and now can see bases loaded. And ball 4, Russo, 4 straight, and the bases are loaded. Keister won't get credited for an RBI when Tampa was able to take the run earlier because it was an error. I'll be disappointed for Keister, but I think she'll be satisfied to help the Spartans maintain their lead. That one's a wild pitch. It's going to get away, and a run will score. Spartans lead 4-0. That was very close to being a passed ball for Bull as well. Takes a weird bounce away. So that'll be a wild pitch credited for Miller. Weininger up 1-0 in the count. Runners in scoring position, second and third. That also opens up a base so you don't get a force out anywhere except for first. It's not good news for the Mustangs. Taken high, 2-0. Fantone at third. Went home on the wild pitch. Keister at third. Went to second on the wild pitch. Russo at second. Went from first on the wild pitch. And now a 3-0 count for Weininger. Definitely another full take here. This time we'll find the zone. 3-1. That's an important strike for Miller. You do not want to concede 2 straight walks in a row in a spot like this. And it just took 1 extra pitch, and there is a walk. Bases loaded for Mariah Galehouse. Galehouse was out in her first at bat, but you certainly do not want to face Galehouse with a bases loaded spot. 2 away will help, and there is force outs everywhere. But it's still tough having to face the Spartans' best hitter in a spot like this. You don't envy the situation Miller's in. That one's low, ball 1. Miller at 55 pitches now through 1 2/3. Might need to bring a bullpen player in eventually. Outside 2-0. Galehouse might just be taking until Miller does throw a strike, and she still doesn't. Good job by Bull to get on top of it and prevent another wild pitch run from scoring. And it's 3-0 for Galehouse. A walk would bring home the 5th run of the ball game. Ball 4 up high. It's 4 straight balls. And Tampa takes a 5-0 lead. And we see some of Miller's teammates giving her some support. Russell and Blumendahl headed to the circle. Wonder if that can help spark some confidence. Here comes Lexi Chevalier. And I will say, Chevalier is another scary hitter. Did bring home an RBI in the first game, but is a slightly better opponent than Galehouse. That being said, shouldn't underestimate Chevalier. This one will find the zone for strike 1. First time that Miller and a few batters has gotten ahead in the count. Here's the 0-1. Good catch by Bull as that one was going high. 1-1. Just outside. Miller only has 1 earned run because of the Russell error earlier in the inning. All the runners on base are not owned by Miller because if Russell was able to convert that into an out, the inning would have ended. Swing and a miss by Chevalier, fooled by the off speed. Counts 2-2 with 2 away. Chevalier gets under this one. Hit out to Boxrud. The catch is made and the inning is over. Bases loaded, gets stranded, but not before 4 runs score. It's just like in Game 1, Tampa with an early 5-0 lead. Top of the third. Pretty much just a repeat of the first game. Tampa was able to convert 4 runs in the bottom of the second, and they take a 5-0 lead. It was in the fourth inning that Southwest Minnesota State was able to respond with 2 runs of their own and keep it a somewhat competitive game. That'll be easier said than done for the offense facing off against Galehouse. And the two-way Carly Miller will take the plate here facing off against Galehouse. Miller hasn't had a hit yet this season, and only 2 at-bats. She has drawn a walk and struck out twice. One and one. The 30th pitch of the game for Galehouse from the circle is outside, 2-1. Swung on and missed, 2-2. And that is strikeout number 4 for Galehouse. Getting a lot of quick outs early, showcasing dominant stuff. Russell steps up again. Russell was the leadoff hitter in the first inning and struck out looking in her first at-bat. Fouled away, 0-1. So one away in the top of the third, Galehouse. The 0-1. This one lined up the middle. It's a base hit. Gets by Russo. And I'll say, Tampa usually do cover the sides, and it leaves the middle wide open for those base hits. Double play opportunity is open as Kremlish steps up. 1 for 1 today. Went 3 for 4 in the first game. Currently the hottest hitter for the Mustangs in this 2-game series. But unfortunately, that'll be a very cold 1 out. Russo was able to get the throw off to first with the incoming Russell runner, but it goes wide and thankfully doesn't go too far for Kate DeSimone. So Kramelish will get a fielder's choice and potentially an error on that throw from Russo. 2 away, 1 on for Blumendahl. The Pipestone, Minnesota 2-way player takes strike 1. Taking a look at this Southwest Minnesota State side, they have a few players from Nebraska and a couple from South Dakota. Everyone else is from Minnesota. 0-2 now here. 2 quick strikes on Blumendahl. Fouled away. It's now a guaranteed 0-2 count here. And 2 outs, potentially able to get out of the inning if Galehouse could find strikeout number 5. Fouled away, down the line. The 0-2 taken low, and that'll be strike 3. Blumendahl goes down looking. 5 strikeouts in 3 innings for Galehouse. 1 runner stranded. We'll be back with the bottom of the third right after this. Due up for the Spartans will be Perkins, DeSimone, and Balmer. Bottom of the third. I'm Taylor Storworthy. Welcome back to Namoli Family Stadium. 5-0 lead for the Spartans. Perkins takes this one, but it's going to be called a ball. Perkins was potentially looking for a bunt. We saw her running forward. 1-0. That one's low for ball 2. I had said that Miller was looking good in the second inning, and that unfortunately turned out to be one of my worst to jinx this as a commentator ever, because Miller had 5 walks conceded in the bottom of the second. This could be number 6 on the game. Yeah, no it won't, just in the top corner, strike 1. Again, it's hard to get used to some of the later movements from softball umpires. Across the board, they sometimes take just an extra half second. Causes me to jump the gun a couple times. 3-2 now. Full count for Perkins. 7, 8, 9 hitters due up for the Spartans this inning. This one's grounded. Takes a weird hop, but is going to be picked up by Colhane. 1 away. Kate DeSimone ready to face Miller in the circle once again. DeSimone walked last time and later scored. Outside, ball 1. Fouled away, 1-1. That one's in the dirt. 2-1. The 2-1 to DeSimone. Fouled away. It's 2-2. A win here would put Tampa 13-0 to start the season. And we mentioned last time, they'll be facing Chestnut Hill tomorrow at 1 p.m. and then immediately following in a doubleheader. On Thursday, a big one, they'll be traveling to Valdosta in a revenge match against the team that knocked them out in the regionals last year in Valdosta State. That will be a fun one. Then they'll be playing next Monday, and also the new series that they'll then have of 3 games will be against Florida Southern next weekend. Now, 2-2. This one popped up. It should stay in play for Bull. That's caught. 2 away. Meanwhile, Southwest Minnesota State continue their Florida tour tomorrow. They face Millersville University, Pittsburgh Johnstone, then Truman State and Trevecca Nazarene. They also face Lewis University and close out against Grand Valley State. They then take a 2-week break before continuing in the NSIC Conference against Sioux Falls and Upper Iowa at the end of March and early April. 0-1 taken here from Stephanie Balmer. Taken high, 1-1. This one's going to be grounded to Balmer. Picked up at short. The throw. Wow, not in time. Wow. I have to say, and again, I'm a Tampa commentator. I'm going to be a little more biased in my readings for the Spartans, but I definitely thought Balmer was out by half a step there. And not a surprise, we see Bailey Bowman out discussing it with the umpire. I think I've already mentioned it this game, but as my friend and colleague Bruce Wozniak would say, you can't argue with City Hall. And that'll be a shame for Southwest Minnesota State. I think they were hoping for a clean 1-2-3 inning. There will be a review quickly between Seraphin and Johnson as they go over it. That certainly looked like out number 3 there. It was a very close play. The old saying is, ties go to the runner. But we'll notice throughout baseball and softball here in Tampa, more often than not, they've actually gone to the fielder this year. Interesting to note. Fantone would get a shot with a runner aboard if the runner stands. Miller on 78 pitches. Would certainly like a third inning wrapped up at that pitch count total. And they will overturn the call. And you see Denise Rubio not super happy about it. It was a close play, and that should wrap up the bottom of the third inning. We'll be back with more Tampa baseball after the break. And we're back. And now we see, I believe, Leslie Cantor just not super happy about the previous call. You don't normally see those calls overturned, so I think Tampa has a right to be a little upset about it, but I think in the end, it was overturned to the correct call. It was a very close play, though, and unfortunate for Ballmer. But we'll have to see what happens after this. Gilhouse ready to continue, only 38 pitches through 3 innings and 5 strikeouts, showcasing electric stuff that we've always known her for. Fouled away by Knoll, 0-1. Knoll was a strikeout victim back in the first. This one's going to be grounded over to Ballmer. Ballmer, a quick throw to first, and that is an easy call. And despite an emphatic attempt by Maddie Bundle, the call will stand, 1 away. Bundle was hoping the call would be safe, but that was somewhat similar to Ballmer's ground out to end the bottom of the third, except I think it was a little more secure as a ground out. Low, but strike one, 0-1 for Bull. Bull popped out back in the first inning. This one's grounded, once again to Ballmer. 2 away. I'll say it's interesting to see Gilhouse getting so many strikeouts this quickly. Only had 11 through 29 innings entering the game. But a great job in the circle tonight, as day is going to eventually turn tonight at 6 p.m. 1-2-3 if Ballmer can make the catch. Instead, calls it away. Good communication. Fantone gets the final out. 1-2-3. A very quick top of the fourth. We'll be back with more Spartans softball in the bottom of the fifth. Can't believe I got that wrong last time.
I
am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Five 0 Spartan lead. They have had a good start to game two. It's going to be Fantone, Keister, Russo due up for the Spartans here in the bottom of the fourth. It's been a beautiful day for softball, and Tampa was able to take a big game one win. They're already halfway home for a game two victory. That one taken for ball one. I have to say, a lot of very close ball pitches here. That one is, I think, just a little high. Fantone flies this one to left, and it's caught on the run by Kramilish. One away. Keister 0 for 2 today. Keister hoping for some better luck this time. While Keister did have 0 for 2 days to start, Keister got aboard with an error earlier and later scored. Ball one taken. Miller at 81 pitches. Here comes 82. Say that Miller's doing a better job finding the strike zone this go around. That one. And that one, actually, I think it might be graded as an illegal pitch potentially. 2-0 here. Ball three up high. Three and one taken there by Keister. Does find the zone, avoiding a 4-ball walk. We'll see what this next one is. Here's the 3-1. Fouled away, full count. This one sent and foul. Just goes a little too far to the left. Would have been potentially extra bases if it goes fair. Also could have been in play for Kramilish. She was trying to track it down. So we stay full here. 3-2. On deck is Russo, and Russo would not mind a base runner. That's ball four up high. Russo 1 for 1 today. Drew a walk in the second. Got a single in the first. But hasn't gotten home yet. Wonder if Russo can change that here. One away in the bottom of the fourth. Russo grounds this one to short. Picked up by Russell. They turn one. The throw not in time. The sliding Keister forced to delay by Culhane. So it's a fielder's choice, 6-4, 2 away for Weininger. Two away. And Tampa's third base player will take strike one. Nice little off speed getting the outside corner. Galehouse might have to lead off next inning if Weininger can't continue the inning. But Weininger's had a good start so far. Had a walk and also had a sac fly in the first inning. I believe it's a 2-0 count Nope, sorry. It's going to be now 1 and 2. The 1 and 2 foul back. Fouled. This one's going to get down in the outfield. Base hit. The inning will continue. And here comes Mariah Galehouse. And that'll be Russo's day done. Tampa is going to bring on a pinch runner. That might be Abigail Siegel entering the game. It is indeed Abby Siegel. Mariah Galehouse will now have 2 runners aboard. Siegel will be trying to go all the way home. Galehouse 0 for 1 today, did draw a walk back in the second. The bottom 5 batters in the Spartans order are all hitless so far. Galehouse would be certainly due for a hit right here. Galehouse 0 for 1, Chevalier 0 for 2, Perkins and DeSimone 0 for 1 each, and Ballmer 0 for 2. This one grounded up the middle. It's through. Siegel rounding third. Not fielded cleanly in center field. And runners at the corners for Chevalier. It's a 6-0 Spartan lead. Galehouse, a little bit of a late decision to swing, but a good one. Beats Russell up the middle, and Boxrud can't field it cleanly enough, which allowed Wininger to get to third. Chevalier up. Chevalier stranded 1 runner in the previous game. Does not want to strand 2 in this spot for the Spartans. That one's taken. Strike 1. That was the 95th pitch for Miller in the game. Of course, for softball, you have a lot more stamina. It's less taxing on the arm. But fatigue could eventually set in for Miller. 1-1. That one taken. Stolen base attempt. The throw to second. Play at the plate. Weininger safe. So the 1-2 stolen base routine works. As Galehouse is able to take second, Weininger is able to sneak home. As technically a stolen home, a little less impressive than the fantastical going from third to home at the same time as the pitch, but still gives the same beautiful effect of bringing a run home. It's a 7-0 Spartan lead. Fouled away, and it's going to be a 2-2 count for Chevalier. Two. This one's going to be grounded to second. Throw to first in time, and that will end the inning. Spartans score 2 more. They lead 7-0 as we enter the top of the 5th.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can. And then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Moly Family Stadium, 6:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're back with more Spartan baseball, softball. And I do a lot of sports for Spartan commentary, so it will sadly get jumbled up from time to time. I accidentally called lacrosse game once volleyball not too long ago. 0-1 here. Galehouse once again from the circle. Count goes 1-0-2. Wow, okay, that one looked pretty low, but I think just got in the zone. It's Alren at the plate, grounded out in the second inning. Stays alive now. This one's grounded to Weininger. A good throw for out number one. Russo back at second base. There was a pinch runner, but Russo allowed to re-enter the game. Strike one taken low. Palmer struck out looking back in the second. One and one. Current line scores. Southwest Minnesota State Mustangs have no runs on 2 hits, 3 errors. But the Spartans at 7 runs on 5 hits and 1 error. Only 3 of those runs for the Spartans have been earned so far. A few of them came on with errors, including all 4 of them that had come across in the second inning. 1 and 2 fouled away. Palmer staying alive. For the game, Southwest Minnesota State hitting 2 for 16 and are 0 for 5 with runners on base. That one grounded right to Galehouse. Tips it to Balmer, who makes the play 2 away. Two outs. Miller at the plate. It's a pitcher versus pitcher duel. This one taken. Ball 1. Miller struck out back in the third inning. Fouled away, and it's 1 and 1. Now it's 1 and 2. That one right down the middle. Galehouse looking for strikeout number 6 of the game. And got her. Strike 3. Went down looking. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Spartans as we enter the bottom of the 5th.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team on my campus and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
$7-0 lead for the Spartans. Here's Perkins. The first opponent this inning for Miller. Fouls this away. Perkins drew a walk in the second and scored. Grounded out in the third. Inside, ball one. This one's going to be grounded to third. And Allen, who is actually hitting, not Perkins, I apologize, is safe. It's a little slow to update for the stats. But Allen is able to beat out the throw. It was a slow grounder to Knoll. Good attempt from the third base player, but not enough time to get it. Kate DeSimone steps up. No one out. Infield playing in. They're watching for the sacrifice bunt. And it misses. 0-1 for DeSimone. The 0-1, the bunt is good. The throw to first is in time, and third base was empty. And Tampa will score off an errant throw. Neither Russell or Knoll was watching third on the play, so it allowed Allen to test her luck and make it all the way around. The errant throw into the outfield allows her to score, and per the run-ahead rule, the Spartans will, quotation marks, walk it off on that errant throw, taking a series sweep with an 8-0 victory. So the sacrifice bunt secures victory for the Spartans. They will improve to a very impressive 13-0 to start the campaign. It's 4 straight defeats for Southwest Minnesota State. They'll have a day off tomorrow to get ready for the remainder of their Florida tour. For Tampa, we'll see you next time at Namoli Family Stadium as they will face off against Chestnut Hill. It'll be a complete game shutout, technically, for Gale House, alongside 6 strikeouts and only 2 hits. And disappointing for Miller. Only, I believe, 3 earned, or potentially 2 earned, depending on how it'll be scored. But still a rough day and a couple fielding issues, ultimately hurting Southwest Minnesota State this time. But again, thank you for tuning in. I'm Taylor Storthy, and we'll see you next time for more Tampa Spartans softball on TampaSpartans.tv.